Hey, how's it going? Please look at my signs. Okay, so I pulled two cards from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck, and they are number 6, Cosmic Womb, and the subtitle is The Divine Feminine. Looks kind of like a snowflake, huh? It's definitely got like some iridescent business happening around the edges, which is kind of interesting because I came across a photo of iridescent clouds today, which was a new one on me, but not unlike a rainbow. So, I mean, I don't know if that's what causes them is light refraction, but it's basically a rainbow, like in a cloud. So, or a part of a cloud becomes iridescent like a rainbow. I don't know, but it was certainly looking a lot like this, at least around the edges of this. The photo I saw was like a white cloud, sort of, I don't know, kind of like like popcorn, but it had like straight-ish rays kind of bursting out of the center of it. So that was interesting. And then I also pulled the number 49 card, Skywriting, and the subtitle there is The Fates. That's funny that there's an image on here that looks to me like a snowy owl, and that was something that I had a picture of yesterday. So what I do like every day is I'll go through, like I have some little things I do that are my routine, but I like to go through and find funny, cool, interesting animal stuff to share, just because, I don't know, my friends seem to enjoy it. So, need to move that. Okay, and the Shaman's Dream Oracle cards are consecutively the number 6 for the Cosmic Womb and 49 for the Skywriting. I never feel like I get all that I could out of this card, and I could have done this before I got started. I don't know why I didn't, but it has like runes on it. So this card often has runes, or this deck rather, or not this deck. I mean, yes, this deck, but also the Lightseer's deck has a lot of runes all over it too. And when I had my laptop working, it was easy to put the rune guide, you know, whatever the answers, up on my laptop, and then I could just consult it easily. But since I just have this one device right now, switching back and forth, kind of a pain. And I guess I could have done it ahead of time because I do a little prep most times. But I don't know why I didn't. And now I'm talking about it. I feel like I should have, because they're on here for a reason. They definitely add to whatever you're supposed to take away from here. But I know there's the 2 axes meeting. Like there's 2 triangles where their points meet, and I believe that's 2 hatches. But I believe the interpretation of that is like a meeting of the minds kind of deal. And then there's like the M shape that I believe is oh, it's not a house. That's right. I think the house looks like a lean-to. I don't remember what it is. So, not helpful. And that's why I'm ignoring it, but I'm like totally conscious of it. I feel like I should be like there's value there and I'm missing out. But anyway, well, I was supposed to have 6 cards here. What happened to number 5? Did it go on the floor? Yep. Pardon. So, You might notice that I'm wearing a tourist shirt. This one is from San Diego, and it's just cracking me up because I'm actually from California. So it just feels weird to be wearing a tourist shirt, but it was a gift. And I love the colors. I don't know, it just cracks me up. Been there a lot. California and San Diego. Anyway, yeah, does it seem like I'm stalling? Maybe a little. So, okay, I pulled those two cards from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck, and then from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Guide deck, I pulled Crow, which I have pulled so many times, and I'm kind of been a little bit vexed about it in the same way as the rune cards, because I was definitely able to like get information from the cards, and even like I'll look stuff up to supplement whatever I'm feeling, but I never felt like I was getting that, like it just kept like I just pull it an awful lot, and for a while I was pulling it like days and days and days in a row, and I was like, what am I missing? So, I mean, with birds generally, one of the interpretations is that they're messengers, and crow, no different. But the crow is associated, I guess, from a way, centuries ago with magic. And so today, I got all these sort of, meaningful messages I thought they were. And they came from, like, some Bible stuff came up, like some scriptures and some stories, and a couple of things from synchronicities about numbers, like particularly 222, which I knew it was something, and I've looked it up, but this video that I got, it was very strange. It was obviously AI generated because it was phonetically all messed up. Like, that's a clue. But, and at first I was like, it's just like saying stuff that I can just look up myself, but it turned out it wasn't all that. It wasn't only that, because it, like a bunch of the things I'm getting now for some reason have like a picture of Dolores Cannon on them, like all these channels, and I just keep getting more and more, and I've just been like, no, get out, I don't recommend more. The one I actually want, I haven't been able to find it. Like, it doesn't come up if you search, and I hit subscribe to it. And I thought, well, what the heck, man? I was looking at it for days, and then I went back one day and it was just gone. Like, if you enter it into the magnifying glass to look it up, it does not come up, this particular channel, and it was called Mystery School. So I went in my subscriptions last night, finally, after weeks, and went and looked at, like, opened that subscription. No, it had like no posts, which was not what it had when I was watching it. It had a ton of posts. And not only that, I can find, or they just, because I looked for that channel, now I'm getting all this, and for weeks now, all this, like I said, these channels that have her picture on it, but it doesn't necessarily have to do with her or her work, like a little bit. So that's kind of pissing me off. But I just think it's weird that what was on the channel was transcripts of her hypnotic sessions, and the stuff that I was particularly interested in was people that attended the mystery school in Israel, not in Jerusalem. I don't remember now the name of the town they were in, because the channel's no longer there to consult. For some reason, that information became like, ooh, we can't talk about that, and they just took it away. So, I don't know specifically if that's what happened, but I don't know what else to think. So now I have what I feel like are all these imposters, because that was like her channel from her people, and these people are just like quoting basically, or these other channels. So I don't know, but anyway, I looked at one of them today, and it was talking about a guy named John and how he was sort of going through, I guess, a crisis of faith or waking up to faith. But it was just like talking about him and having his ordinary life, like he had a job. He was just like a regular guy, nothing like crazy different about them. But it spoke about these dreams that he was having, and they were like totally like biblical dreams and like kind of scary and gory, and literally it was like the retelling was like, oh my god, this guy's getting signs like he's in the Bible Bible story. So one of the dreams he had was like he knew he was getting signs, and I guess he was also speaking to someone to try and like understand what was happening, but he seemed to be struggling anyway. Like people told him and he kind of put it together himself, but he like didn't want to believe that he was getting signs from spirit, because when that happens, like in the Bible, that means spirit intends something for you to do or endure. I don't know, read the Bible. But that's kind of always like a theme in there. People get assigned these lives and tasks and challenges to prove their faith, basically, and that they love God, which out of that context seems kind of crazy. But one of the dreams he had was a bunch of crows with red eyes appeared, and they were like talking to him, and he was like, I'm paraphrasing, but the conversation basically went like, whoa, here's a bunch of crows that look scary and crazy, now I'm scared, what do you want? And they're like, well, we're trying to tell you something, you know, like we have a message for you from spirit. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess that pretty much like clicked something in my brain that said that that's what the crow was about over and over. And it's like, well, I got that. I did like say that I knew they were messengers. So I don't know exactly what message that may be yet to come. My cat trying to get back in, or is he already in here? I thought I let him in or let him out. I don't know. I just let him out. Anyway, all of those things together got me thinking about something I like always talk about here, and it's kind of the birth plan or the life blueprint, and how like the life we're living is not our real lives. It's not really us. Like we've taken on an identity and an appearance and a life that's going to coincide with all of the other people here that have done the same thing, and everybody's, you know, on their way to their own goal, but you interact and interconnect with people along the way your whole life, and it could be like a major significant interaction, or it could be something that you don't even realize happened, you know, like you could just bump into somebody and say, excuse me, and you know, something could be created from that, you know, collision that you may not think is a big deal, but it might like set off a whole chain of events in this other person's life, which leads to other chains of events that are connected to other chains of events in other people's lives. You get what I'm saying? So knowing that does not make it easier to live in this world. Like, there's a lot of stuff that, I mean, a lot of people are emotionally hit by and affected by, and then I guess there's others that are not, and I guess that's a level of consciousness thing, not to be like looked down upon or anything. Like, everybody's going at their own rate of speed. Like, try walking with a group of people. Everybody's going at a different pace. That's kind of a repeated theme in all of our lives. So Anyway, it got me thinking, so I took a few notes, and now I'm going to read them to you. So many messages today that I found help me to process the whole life in the matrix as an eternal soul thing. It's been a kind of constant task, effort to live right. What feels right to me, to be clear. Right in a way that helps rather than hinders what anyone else is doing. I really don't like any interventions. They feel like oversteps. I left the Y off of there. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. They feel like oversteps into my personal acts and intentions. For example, I am not homosexual, but if I were, I'd feel affronted at least about the me and my community's scrutinization, like being under the scrutiny, being the judgment, and frankly, misdirected anger. So, I mean, does that make any sense at all? I would feel affronted at least about the scrutiny, judgment, and misdirected anger. As a woman who is in at least some measure, I didn't write some, obviously black, that would be me, among other things. These two features alone draw undue, unwanted attention. Other aspects of me and my personality have often led to unwanted remarks, conversations, and incidents. On the other hand, because there is one, it hasn't been all bad. The traits I have also drawn the positive opposite luck. Or the positive opposite. Luck, abundance, and right place, right times, and that same goes for right people at the right time. I know I've played those same roles in the lives of others. Been that person someone hoped I'd show up for in whatever capacity, and I didn't. Or I did. It's rarely my intention, to be clearer, it's rarely my intention to harm anyone by my actions. More often, if I do, it's with words, like if I intend to, like sort of be cutting. It's with words. But I don't want to stab, slash, and parry strikes against me. I often realize after the fact that something I said was all wrong for somebody or several of them. Often I know what the impact of my words can be, if taken to heart, but I am aware too that to take it personally, particularly if mine are not specific, my words, some will attach meaning to them all on their own that I did not mean and did not mean for them. That isn't something I can control, nor should I censor myself, because I know it will happen. That's not on me. Getting to a place where these things are clear has been a journey of self-discovery and general revelation. Keeping on top of that seemed challenging but doable. It's the reining in and management of my thoughts that's been so intimidating. I thought clocking synchronicities seemed like work harder than I thought I could do. corralling and taming my thoughts is far more difficult. It's far more difficult. Not impossible, I'm learning, but difficult to be sure. Because I don't know about you, but my thoughts can run wild. It's the seat of judgment, like my own, and to be honest, the projection. It's the seat of judgment, and to be honest, of the projection type. Projection. As judgments are. With each other, we conspire to reflect upon each other our own least lovable qualities. Not as in the legal sense of judgment, where consideration and not reaction is needed. So yeah, my thoughts can be often running even when my concentration is supposed to be directed elsewhere. I have, as of late, been getting more skilled all the time at catching and capturing runaways before they can crazy spray and bring into being all manner of unintended timelines. Or I just don't want to manufacture ugliness and discord in my head when there's plenty on the outside trying to get in there. There's that, and there's the fact that I want to be able to deflect that from entering my life or my senses. You know how we can be weakened at times and make bad decisions for selfish reasons, because we're scared or desperate. There are those times when doing wrong things seem like good ideas. I feel like those are the times when I need to see the difference and not simply take the fastest, easiest way. If I know better. I feel like when I can see what I need to do and then I do it, I feel like I got it. Yay, it. The messages, though. Different sources with the same message, through my interpretation, might not seem that way to someone else looking at the same thing. But and I don't know why, I understand that is a thing. I guess I just needed to say it. Okay. The messages today, though, different sources with the same message. No matter what comes, trial, tribulation, natural disaster, inauthentic authority, dangerously out of control individuals and groups consolidating power to coerce and manipulate. Be aware. Notice the motivations of these incongruencies. Trust your feelings. They're our best truth detector we have. To stand out or alone, while it may draw the ire or suspicion or envy or whatever, just, if it's wrong, don't fall for it. Everything to watch for: the entropy, the rotting institutions, and the vampire capitalists who become authoritarian to feed the need to greed. They have to be fed they have fed so on the dying that they've weakened the whole organism. And by that I mean basically like our country and our economy, and the way that's made a clear delineation between the haves and the have-nots. Where was I? So not that it's a lost cause. Could be, and could be, and I know this is the case. Life goes on. Maybe not for everyone, although we say Death came unexpectedly. But why? We all know death is in the cards, literally and figuratively. So if we aren't expecting it, it's a form of deep denial or something. Here, the harsh reality about the reality of death and dying and our reaction to it, and I gotta specify, I'm mainly speaking of Westerners. We get so hurt and set up because we were not ready. Wait, why did it set up there? Oh, upset. Oh my God, it says upset and I read set up. What is going on? So let me read that again. We get so hurt and upset because we weren't ready. Not ready for the loved ones or the sympathetic strangers to suddenly and shockingly die. We aren't ready when distant strangers we feel not or neutral for either. I mean, we may not think we are affected by it, but pretty much when we hear that people have died, it affects us. I guess because we can't deal with the inevitability that one day it'll be our fate too. The good thing, the saving grace is we can come back. We have eternal life because we have endless new lives to live again. Reincarnation. So I just kind of felt like, you know, those things in mind, it's hard to keep them in mind is kind of, you know, my point. And we should feel like whatever emotions that come along, like we shouldn't block them out or stuff them down, because that's not good for us. And that's kind of like part of life. It's, you know, you experience things and then you feel things and you process them and hopefully you move on and you don't just hang on to it forever and let it drag you down. So cosmic womb, we can, I mean, we have to develop it, but we have the ability to create our own reality. And then, like we do, like whatever we're living is our creation, including what goes on around us, even though everybody else has their own agency and is doing the same thing as well. Remember, there's the prearranged handshake, so everything that's going on is supposed to happen, including like mass extinctions like wars or you know, shooter situations or weather, like natural disasters, like whatever it is where a bunch of people, you know, go out of this life at the same time. That actually is happening so that like we're meant to feel the effects of it. It's part of our growth and the evolution of our consciousness. So, I mean, even said in one of those biblical things I saw earlier, that it's one of the things that said, well, it was talking about the end days. And one of the things it said was, you know, there's going to be wars and disasters and earthquakes and all the things we've been experiencing. But they're supposed to happen. And that brings me back to that prearranged handshake, that life blueprint. They're supposed to happen because we already mapped that out to go ahead and happen. And we have this sort of embryonic organism, which would be, I'm going to say, the metaphor for our lifetimes, all of us all together at once. And because we don't remember things, like maybe the whole of the experience is nebulous and unclear because that's the way we arranged it, for the life plan. And we get to have the joy of like filling it in, of like making what looks like a biological cellular type deal happen in here. They do things, they set off reactions in our bodies, they make things work, and they work, all of the millions and billions of them inside of us together in unison. So if we take this as the metaphor for fashioning our own reality the way that we want to do it, I feel like that's like the seed basically for starting out with, or the embryo of the future that you're putting together together with everyone else, by the way. And so then we have the I'm not done with that other card probably. Then we have the number 49 card, skywriting, and the subtitle on here is the fates. And what is your life but living out your fate? Like what I was just talking about. So for the number 6 card, quickly, the guidebook says, creativity, the divine feminine. The creative womb is a reminder that you're undergoing a beautiful process of birthing a new self into being. You don't know who or what it is yet, but you know it's full of life and love and passion and spirit. It's the perfect expression of you, imbued with love incarnate and ignited by the vital spark received from the divine. Inspiration. If you've had a difficult time in recent memory, feeling dry and stagnant or lost and unsupported, that is changing right now. You will feel newly inspired as so many ideas beckon for your attention. Know that you're safe to explore the expression of your rejuvenated creativity, releasing all judgment as your curiosity is piqued. You're in the most fertile cycle of your life right now, intuitively keen, with heart wide open, mindful that each step in the direction of your dreams and desires is effortlessly supported by all of the divine helpers in the unseen realms. I take that to mean your birth angels who help guide you through the life path that you've created and chosen for yourself. And I have to interrupt myself to go let the cat in. I hear him throwing himself at the door. Hold on. Okay. Now that he busted up that flow for me, I'm going to move on to the skywriting card. What it says about that in the guidebook. Skywriting, the fates. That which we cannot change. Non-judgment. Well, I don't know about anyone else, but one of the things that my mind will run away with is I'll just start judging stuff before I even realize, before I even realize I'm doing it, because it's like habitual. It has become like okay to basically sit there and pick people apart. But it really isn't okay. It doesn't feel right when people do it to you, and we shouldn't, I don't think. We shouldn't feel good about doing it to other people. I don't think it feels great, like I'll do it and then I'll be like, maybe I shouldn't have done it. So I'm getting better, as I said, at stopping the runaways, which is good. Points. So, it is written in the sky that you have a destiny. Like I was just talking about, you are being invited to explore certain aspects of life unique to you and you alone. That does not mean your path will be easy, paved with gold, and littered with diamonds. Nor does this predict your journey will be treacherous. It's just your path, with parts that cannot be changed and must be radically accepted as they are. In this way, whatever you're faced with, every single aspect of your life is perfect in its imperfection. Not good or bad, neither inflow nor blocked. This nor that. See your life as a series of opportunities rather than an obstacle course. Because everything that happens, like I said, including wars or something like that, and it makes you feel utterly terrible, is actually good for something. You may not think so immediately, but in the end, eventually it is. Because that's the way we made the plan. So trust the plan. Sorry, I love to needle that. Once you master the skill of non-judgment, you open to the power of curiosity, unencumbered by the burdens of yesterday's fear, as you look ahead into the potential of the future. Yes, you still need to be brave. Right now, you are facing a critical moment in time with an opportunity to meet your fate. A choice point where you expand your influence and your capacity for abundance, love, and purposeful action. Now is the moment to leap into it. Whether it be heart connection, a call to creativity, or a new identity in your work or another aspect of your life, with all of your heart and soul. Your success is surely written in the stars. In order to bring your destiny to fruition, you must jump into the adventure with both feet and do your part. So, how am I doing on time? Okay, so I pulled also some cards from the Light Seers deck. And I just want to refer quickly back to something I saw here. It was talking about like what your path would look like, and it was the part about it is just your path with parts that cannot be changed and must be radically accepted as they are. See, that was kind of what I don't think I articulated it very clearly, but that was what got me writing what I wrote, because it's not easy to just be all, I know this is real, but it's not real, and I know that that's bad and terrible and scary and whatever, hurtful, but it's not a real, like, it's not really hurting you. It's hurting your avatar, I guess you could call it. And part of being able to, like, split your consciousness in two and yet remain whole is to be able to hold those, like, competing thoughts, like they don't easily or automatically align, but they are the case. And I mean, knowing that it's not just the fear and the horror and the stuff to be scared of, which is not all there is to life, let's face it. There's plenty of great stuff to love and enjoy and have fun and be fun with and all of that, but we tend to focus on the darker things, the harder things, but maybe those are the things that we need to deal with, because happiness and joy is fluffy and fun and nice and not challenging at all. So it has a different kind of value. So I pulled Six of Wands. Personally, like what I just said, like this speaks to accepting praise, accepting like that, perhaps you have up-leveled in a way, and in such a way that it's noticeable, and you will then have different or more attention than you're used to, And it kind of speaks to, accepting that gracefully, and I guess not getting a big head about it so much so that it just like messes you up, you know. And this one is about feeling the joy and exuberance, and sort of just going for it, even though you don't necessarily know like all of the right ways to do whatever. Like like you're green, but you're willing, and positive and happy, and that'll carry you a long way. And so then you have like your Knight of Cups energy, and you can see that this is all like, this is like such a like Valentine's Day Hallmark ladies movie channel love bow or whatever. But what it speaks to, and all of that is great, like if you can get some, get it, but I think what it speaks to is like living your life through like your heart first before your mind, but also like having your heart and your mind together. And your mind is like ego. Your mind has ideas of its own, and your heart as well, but your heart thinks differently. It's more of a emotional component of us that's valuable, and I think sometimes that we dismiss it because it's, I don't know, like emotions are watery and slippery, hard to get a grip on, and they can sort of blow up and go out of control. And if you're not feeling those emotions and you're not allowing yourself to feel them, then that's going to feel weird and that's going to feel bad. But maybe if you allow your heart to rule a little more than your mind, things won't feel that way when you meet them. When you meet the situations that are emotional, where softness is called for. Like it's not always the right way to be issuing orders and having a straight spine and a stiff upper lip and not asking questions. I mean, life does more than just one thing. And then the Judgment card, I need to quickly peek at my manual here and see, because I'm not remembering. Where are you? So, justice. Justice is, so not judgment. I don't know why I keep saying judgment. It's justice. Although judgment is involved for like the judge. the justice. Justice is simply the representation of fairness and balance. It reminds us that we are always responsible for our actions and that there are consequences for everything. Justice also represents truth. It encourages finding truth through facts and being thorough. Don't be too hasty to deal out judgment before knowing the full truth. Well, so that is not far from what I was saying in my piece here, that I at least don't want to go like too far in either direction, away from really just like down the middle, straight and narrow, kind of staying out of sticky situations that could be like, quicksand. And like you don't want to get sucked in it and mired in, well, something like judgment, when when you are judging someone, it's like pointing a finger at somebody. And when you do that, you may have whatever you're saying about the other person and you're feeling like you're, I don't know, justified in what you're saying, but you also have these three fingers pointing back at you. So that there is a reminder of, like, be sure that you're, whatever you're accusing this person of, like, it might also be true of you. So for me, this means, like, being aware of that and applying it to your life. Whoa, to ease to ease things. Well, I mean, the less you fight what's happening in your life, like, you cannot fight a cardinal point that's just not going to change. You have to adapt and adjust to it and get over, around, but probably not through whatever that is. And I guess that's the point. Like, you know, catch more flies with sugar than vinegar, and if you're fluid and not hard and resistant, then passage, any way you want to envision that, is going to be easier. And I also pulled the Six of Cups, which I know that it's like a nostalgia for, well, the good old days, basically. And we have a lot of people that want to take us back to their idea of the good old days. But I think that it's well to remember that not everybody experienced the old days as good. But this points to, like, the good things to be remembered, you know, that we're happy and nice and not tinged with darkness. Like when you were innocent and those things were, I mean, when you're, was this kid, like about 5 or 6, 7, when you're this age, darkness to you is like the lights off and what's in the closet and what's under the bed. However, when we're little, we can perceive things that are more ethereal, more ghostly. We're still, like, at an age where we haven't been shamed out of seeing stuff and being sensitive to things. You know, various things take us out of a very intuitive, perceptive state as we grow up. And it's a shame, because what would be really awesome is if we could just, like, have it all, incorporate all of those into our being. So going forward, you know, this is about planting seeds for the future, or planning for the future. So hopefully what you've done is taken all of the previous cards and these over here too, and everything what I've said, and, like, incorporated it in order to understand my message. I'm not saying that you have to, like, take it and, like, live it. I'm not saying that at all, but just in order to understand what I'm saying. Well, I hope that you have. Now I got lost, whatever I was saying. You know, planning for the future, it's good, but also, do we really know what to plan for? We have, like, the world as it is now, and we just don't know what's going forward. I was watching Linda G, the Comanche psychic, and she was on Andrè Carr's show, Projective Astrology. I'll have to put the right name. He just changed it from Astrology Alert. I mean, Astrology Alert. change to. What was I gonna say about that? Planning for the future, not knowing. Dang, what did she say? Oh, come on. Dang, I can't remember. That's gonna drive me crazy. Well, maybe I'll remember when I look up the correct name of that show. But they were talking about, it's always about like the politics, but I don't think that was what I had latched onto. It was more to do with like living our lives, and I can't remember. God, that bums me out. Well, you got most of what I had to say, and it's really time for me to go. Thank you and good night.